Serving in the military was always important to me. As you can see from the quote up there, people in the military have a very high sense of self-esteem and believe they can do things that most people think they couldn't do. Both my grandfathers served in the military, and it was very important for me to serve as well. Years later, I was living in San Francisco, and I had a thought. What if I created two social networks, one for the military, Troop Space, and one for teachers called Teachbook, and I could build a network of bloggers around them. And I thought it was a pretty good business idea, but I did it while I had my day job. So I launched Troop Space as a side project, and I got a lot of attention right away. I was invited to the GI Film Festival in Washington, D.C. I met Gary Sinise, Robert Duvall, and some high-ranking military officials that liked what I was doing, and I thought I was kind of on my way. And I still had a day job, so life was pretty good. I connected people around the globe. Here you see a guy that plays taps, Jay Richardson, for veterans at their funerals, so they don't have to use a boombox. That's a break in the fighting in a cemetery in Baghdad that my friend decided to take a picture after they stopped getting shot at. This was my day job. That was my boss. I won't name him to save him the embarrassment, although I was the one that got fired. As you can see, it didn't go very well. It wasn't his fault. I blame Wall Street and that whole debacle, but even Silicon Valley was affected by the economic crash in 2008. So the sun set on my time in San Francisco. You missed the sun going down over there on the left. And when I moved out there, I had taken Route 66, and a week-long journey, had a great time. Coming back, I was on I-80 because I didn't have a job anymore, and I needed to make something happen and get to work with my two social networks. I got some local attention. That's a press photo up there from my time in Egypt. That's when I got basic training. A newspaper dug that one up. And then that was a local news show that had me on. So I was very excited about the way things were going. And then I got some really national attention, some bigger newspapers. You see, I was flying around the country, and the problem was I wasn't paying attention to what was happening at home. I was excited by all this attention, and the office was being run by the friend of a friend. And I got promised $300,000 by investors. My life was great. Everything was perfect. I had nothing to worry about, except the guy running the office, the one I wasn't paying attention. They also promised me a lot of electronics, an iPod Touch, some iPhones to give away through the websites to drive traffic and drive user acquisition. Unfortunately, TJ, the guy running the office, thought he could make better use of iPhones and iPod Touches. I told the investors, no, no, no. You've invested $250,000. That's plenty. He wrote them, thanking them for money. That's him, because he lost legally, so he knows he's a scumbag. And you see up there, it's an invoice he used. He used the office. I had 15 employees that I was paying a salary for, and he used them to sell his own product, some cheesy calendars he was making. And I then lost $300,000. 2 days away from signing the deal, it was withdrawn. The investor said, and I quote, "This business with TJ in conjunction with the economy has made us uncomfortable investing at this time. What that really means is you can't manage your people, go away." I lost all my personal money. I stopped counting after $40,000 because, as you can imagine, it was not a good place to be. I just stopped. I got to $40,000. I said, "Oh dear God, I have nothing left," and that led to the personal failure. I was broke. I didn't have a job. I told my mom I was going to, when I moved back from San Francisco, I'll stay with you for 6 weeks, and I'm going to move out. And then I stayed for 2 months, and then I stayed for a few more months, and it turned into a year because I was broke. There's nothing quite so special as moving in with your mother in your 30s. So I cycled through extreme rage, and I wanted to kill him, and then I would drink, and then I'd lay in bed wondering what the hell happened to me. I'd smoke a little pot and try and chill out, and then I'd go back to extreme rage. After 2 months of that, I realized it was time to get back to living. I have a girlfriend, a great relationship. I have a daughter, though I've never been married, don't judge. And I have a nephew that needs me to be a role model. So I realized I had to stop the pity party, get back to doing something positive with myself. And I took General McAuliffe as inspiration. I've always liked him. In World War II, surrounded by the Germans, he was leading the 101st Airborne, and they offered him a chance to surrender. He said, "Nuts." And then he went on to win one of the greatest battles of World War II against overwhelming odds. So I realized I really had nothing to bitch about. I got back on my horse, worked a couple of gigs, freelance. Then I ended up getting offered a job, or a weekly article in Crane's Chicago Business, which I now write. Inc. magazine devoted online half an article to me. I launched Flyover Geeks. I sold Teachbook. Troop Space was then moved to a nonprofit site serving veterans, and I'm running Flyover Geeks now as my full-time occupation. I've gotten some attention. I've learned some lessons. And that has brought me back to the beginning. Soichiro Honda of Honda Automotive has said, success is 99% failure. After all I've been through, it's definitely time for the 1%. Thank you.